Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Camel, and more importantly, welcome back to the Elder Scrolls Detective series, a series in which we investigate, curate, speculate, hypothesize, theorize, and quite often simply highlight and discuss cool, interesting, and hidden things that can be found within the Elder Scrolls games. Today's investigation is a rather somber telling of the manic and frankly quite confusing and esoteric demise of what I think to be Skyrim's only canon same-sex couple. While the player character can marry NPCs of any sex, our investigation revolves around the only gay character couple completely unrelated to the player. As always, I'm happy to be wrong, but again, I do believe this is the only confirmed same-sex couple in Skyrim, and we will be delving into their loomingly lugubrious and muddled misfortunes. Our tale begins on the sundered southern shores of Solstheim, a once wintered wonderland now fallen to the ashen verdict of Red Mountain. Grey, charred, and asphyxiated by a hazy soot-clogged air, the pure white forest floors now stained by magma-scorched ashfall. A stale and desolate atmosphere with a strange sense of beauty, mystery, and depth, an almost mockingly reflective setting of our investigative journey. We'll arrive first to the southernmost shores of Solstheim, ephemerally picturesque and tranquil, as soon a vessel will catch our eye. A modest rowing boat it would appear, although seemingly abandoned at first glance. Upon a closer inspection, the truth is a touch darker. We'll find a body, face down, kissing the southern sands right next to the boat. Shattered on the ground within arm's reach are two pieces of a now broken war axe. There is also blood staining on the beach under his body. A struggle took place here. If we move our eyes north, soon to come into our focus is a burnt Spriggan, a twisted creature. Like Solstheim, once pure and beautiful, now tortured in a chamber of eternal smolder that is its own body. Given how close this burnt Spriggan is to the boat and our newfound corpse, I can only guess that this is our perpetrator. This here burnt Spriggan killed this man in cold, well, hot blood. Seems he put up a fight, had his weapon shattered, and evidently lost the battle to the blazing, bark-laden creature. But who is this man, you ask? This is Hrodulf, a male Nord with nothing in his inventory other than the ragged trousers and miner's boots that he wears. Rather underdressed for the harsh weathers of Solstheim. What is he doing out here all alone and poorly equipped for his surroundings? His boat has a lockbox, a satchel, and a chest next to it. Was Hrodulf unloading his boat, or was he packing in his goods? Coming or going, something we can hopefully surmise by the end of the video. There is something more here though. Inside the boat, on the floor, there is a gold diamond ring and an amulet of Mara. This is very interesting because an amulet of Mara is something associated with love and more specifically marriage. And with that in the picture, the gold diamond ring sure looks like it could be a wedding ring. But to who was he married? Or perhaps he was going to propose, as the items weren't equipped to him, but instead inside the boat. Again, to who though? Who would he be proposing to? Well, we must take this further. Literally. Further up the hill, through the blasted gnarled pines and charcoal-laden knolls. Soon peering through the fire redstone glow of the afternoon light, we will find a disheveled house. This location is actually known as Hrodulf's house, so it was the residence of the dead Nord we found down by the boat. It seems to have been abandoned for quite some time. Entire sections of the house are missing, razed or smashed in. Some of the wooden beams are even smouldering still. Did the burnt Spriggan burn down his house and run him down to the water where he finally met his fate? It can't be, surely. It looks as if no one has lived here for years. If we make our way cautiously into the house, two ash spawns will raise from the ground. This could explain why the house is in a charred state, but surely they would have killed Hrodulf before he had a chance to flee. Curious. There are some signs of someone living here once. Some potions, some minor loot. Since that time though, the interior appears to have been absolutely trashed. Tables tipped and shelves smashed. How on earth could Hrodulf ever have lived in this tip? Well, there is a corner of the house which reveals a trapdoor leading down to the lower levels, down to Hrodulf's cellar. We'll make our way down. As we enter this dark chamber, we will hear this.
Listen to this one. My nights have been impossible to bear without you. I beg of you, please depart that blasted isle and return to solitude at once.
No more. What a fool.
Do you think he's the one we left in the tunnel?
Who cares? Nods all look the same to me.
Wait. Did you hear that? Sounds like those ash spawn are back.
Well, at least if the other Nord returns, they'll take care of him.
2 Reavers who seem to have made themselves right at home, kicking back and reading through private love letters between 2 separated souls. To make our investigation easier, the hammer of justice must be swift, and we need to remove these Reavers from the picture. Now that the Reavers have been removed, and quite literally removed with the console, we can begin our thorough inspection of this subterranean residence. Let's begin where we entered, via the ladder. There are some shelves with meat hooks and other junk items, crates of wine and other randomly scattered bottles. So someone has been drinking. But if we look a little bit closer, we'll notice something much darker: bloodied bones, human remains. They look relatively old, given there are only a few parts: a shin, a hand, a skull. There is also no bloodstains, steering the evidence clear of this being a fresh kill. But who has bloodied human remains in their basement? Anyway, let's move on for now. As we approach the living quarters, we will find shelves with potions atop, health and stamina. At the end there is a book, and not just any old tome, a copy of the Lusty Argonian Maid 2. On the floor down below we can find its sibling, the Lusty Argonian Maid 1. Hrodulf seemed to be a man of fine tastes. Making our way further into the homestead, we'll run into the table that the Reavers were sat at. There appears to be a few items of interest here. On the floor under the table there is a ruby, and on the table itself we will find another. Next to the tabletop ruby lies a piece of parchment, nothing other than a letter to Hrodulf from Bjornolfr. It reads, "Hrodulf, light and strength. I feel your words are not your own, and I worry dearly for your health. I beg of you, please depart that blasted isle and return to solitude at once. My nights have become almost impossible to bear without you. To lose you would be the death of me. My love, if you do not return soon, I will come for you. Signed, Bjornolfr." No doubt, Bjornolfr is obviously Hrodulf's lover. There is more reading to be done. As we can see, Hrodulf apparently didn't know how to use his bookshelf, as his entire library is scattered all over the floor. It also has an unusually large concentration of books regarding the Dwemer. In the farthest corner of his basement, we will discover where Hrodulf slept when he resided here. There are some empty barrels and an empty chest next to the bedroll. Ah, but a journal. Hrodulf's journal. I know it's considered rude, but we must read this telling text. First entry. I've arrived in Solstheim and moved into an old house on the hill by the shore. Whoever lived here before is long gone. Entry 2. I can see well out into the waters from my vantage here, and can hear all things behind and around. Dwemer bandits wander the woods at night, but I don't fear them. Day 5. There is a calling from the depths, a rumble drone that sings to me at night. I've started sleeping in the basement and keeping a knife near. The call is loudest down here. I will be ready for whatever is coming. Day 6. It is as if a great machine reverberates beneath me. Day 10. I tire of waiting for the caller underneath to emerge. I walked into town and bought some digging tools. Shovel, pick. I started to break down the wall behind the bookshelf and dig down. Slow going, I put the bookshelf back when I finished digging. Why? No house guests here, but I feel I have something to hide. Day 13. How can I make Bjorn hear what I have heard? I must not lose him yet. I must remain in this place, for I know I will know the truth soon. Day 23. The murmurer in the earth and I, we talk. I lay my head against the dirt. Finally, day 51. Fire from the deep. Damn son, that is one ominous journal. Its progression almost plays out Hrodulf's descent into madness. But what could be underground calling to him, speaking to him? The Deep Ones? Our mysterious friends from the last Elder Scrolls Detective investigation? Probably not, but it is a romantic thought. If we take a moment to stop looking, but instead take the time to listen, we will learn Hrodulf's scribblings ring true. There are most certainly unnatural noises, an earth-shifting rumble from the deeps that raises our curiosities. What the hell is going on around here? Look, a big pile of stones from the wall have been moved, and the bookshelf, it's surrounded by dirt. Hrodulf's journal did mention digging behind the bookshelf. Ah, look, we can activate it, shifting the bookshelves, revealing a passageway. Down we go. It's only short, but well worth our while. Dwemer machinery, pistons pumping away into the night. But what has captivated my full interest can be found up these stairs. More Dwemer artifacts and machines, some strange room, and of course, there is this body. The body of Bjornolfr, Hrodulf's partner. There are no signs of blood, so perhaps he has died from another method of killing, strangulation, or something stranger. Now things start to get really warped here. Nothing quite adds up. We will get back to the rest of this room later on, but for now, let's focus on figuring out what the hell happened to Bjornolfr and Hrodulf. If we remember, when we first entered the basement, one of the Reavers said this.
No more. What a fool.
Do you think he's the one we left in the tunnel?
Who cares? Nods all look the same to me.
Do you think he's the one we left in the tunnel? Referring to the letter which was written by Bjornolfr, who is here, dead, in what you could call a tunnel. So the Reavers killed him, right? Makes sense, I suppose, but again, there is no blood here. They also didn't take his exceedingly valuable dagger, and next to his body there is gold coins lying on the ground. Again, why would the Reavers not have taken all of his gold? And his clothing, and not to mention the huge amount of assorted loot lying around in this Dwemer ruin. So did the Reavers really come down here and kill him? It doesn't look like it, but what the hell was Bjornolfr doing down here anyway? This is where Hrodulf lived. Not Bjornolfr. Maybe he's carrying something. Ah yes, a letter to Bjorn. Bjorn, do not come to this place. I have not much self left. The earth will take us both. Signed, H. Of course, signed from Hrodulf. So, Hrodulf is up to his old tricks of writing down some really heavy and esoteric stuff. The earth will take us both. I have not much self left. He clearly fell into a deep and demented madness, driven off the teetering edge of sanity by the eternal underground grinding howls and hums, the seismic cradling of the Dwemer marvels beneath his abode. That sentence alone is enough to send someone insane. But with Hrodulf's final sliver of sanity, he urged his lover, Bjornolfr, to never come to Solstheim, as it has driven him mad and he knew it. As he mentions, he has not much self left. But just how mad did he end up going? Well, his journal entries seem pretty off chops, slowly descending into ramblings and thought projection, rather than coherent entries. Confusingly though, he was also found down by the boat with nothing on him other than ragged trousers and boots. Of course, anyone in their right mind would not venture into a snowy wilderness in just trousers and boots. And while I don't want to think about it, we must ask the question. The random, bloodied human bones and remains that we found earlier on in the basement, had Hrodulf killed and eaten other people? Is that possible? If we look even more carefully, on one of the shelves next to the bloodied bones, there is a piece of leather. Pierced through that piece of leather is a meat hook. Now, it's not specified what type of leather this is, but yeah, you know where I'm going with this. Had his sanity been dark forged into that of a cannibal? Not a nice thought, but one we must force upon ourselves. And there are even more confusing circumstances. Hrodulf was the one living here, yet he is found dead outside by the water's edge, and Bjornolfr lived in solitude, Yet he can be found dead in the cavern beneath Hrodulf's house. Surely it would be the other way around. Had they not passed each other? Unless Hrodulf was the one that killed Bjornolfr. Perhaps he knew this would happen, hence why he urged Bjornolfr not to come to Solstheim in a last effort to save his loved one. It would explain why Bjornolfr is dead in the cave and Hrodulf was fleeing the scene trying to escape Solstheim by boat and ended up meeting his fate with the burnt Spriggan. All conjecture, as there are leads and dead ends all over these theories. However, the Reavers say that they left a body in the tunnel, and the only body in the tunnel is Bjornolfr's, but nothing had been looted from him or the room, and there are no signs of blood either. The bookcase was also back in its place, meaning the Reavers either never found him to begin with, or they found him, left him dead, and then put the bookcase back. It's also never specified that the Reavers actually killed him, they just say they left him in the tunnel. But if he was dead before the Reavers arrived, then who killed him? Hrodulf, maybe? By something else? Again, maybe. Also, if Hrodulf was escaping and fleeing the area, he had taken with him his amulet of Mara and his ring, which I'm assuming is his wedding ring, which would point towards him still having some connection to those items and of course some feelings towards Bjornolfr still. So this whole scenario is very muddled with many paths which lead to other paths, and eventually they all snake their way back around to where we started. Lots of piles of evidence with no ends meeting cleanly. The most likely theory, I think, is this. Bjornolfr came to Solstheim from Solitude in this very boat. He had missed his beloved Hrodulf and had finally decided to propose to him, hence the amulet of Mara and the golden ring. He made his way to Hrodulf's house and met his lover, only to find him deep in the ground, going mad from the thundering Dwemer machinery. Bjornolfr and Hrodulf were finally together. Then the Reavers came. They infiltrated the secret Dwemer room and found Bjornolfr and Hrodulf. A fight ensued, leading to Bjornolfr's death. Hrodulf, horrified, fled the area. In a state of heartbreak, raised emotion, and with a mind of madness, he fled, in just his miner's boots and his ragged trousers. With his axe in hand, he ran, and ran, and ran, all the way to the shoreline. As he tried to escape in the boat, the burnt Spriggan bested him in battle, and Hrodulf now lays on the sundered southern shores of Solstheim, all alone. Meters from the wedding ring he should have been wearing, while living happily ever after with Bjornolfr. This would explain the Reavers saying this.
Did you hear that? Sounds like those ash spawn are back.
Well, at least if the other Nord returns, they'll take care of him.
If the other Nord returns, they know Hrodulf exists, and they are somewhat expecting him to come back. And as we know, they also make reference to Bjornolfr being left in the tunnel. And while still a sad tale, much nicer than some of the other options, it doesn't explain the bones in the corner. Nor does it explain why Bjornolfr was completely unlooted and still surrounded by valuables. And that, quite frankly, is all the evidence I have for these poor souls. But what has me really confused and more curious than any of this is the room where Bjornolfr's corpse is found. At first glance, sure, it's a standard Dwemer room, a table, some shelves, haha, just a bunch of Dwemer crap you'd expect to find within a Dwemer ruin. And I felt the same way until I gave the area a closer look. But the mystery shrouding the Dwemer combined with my overly curious nature, I began to notice strange things. Just look at how this is laid out. There is a single chair, then a table, then a chest, then this thing. This strange dome with what appears to be a doorway or a hatch of some kind. Again, this table isn't for sitting and chatting with people. There is just one chair which is facing this doorway, which is attached to this weird dome structure, with a table in between and what I can only describe as treasure between the table and the dome. Are these treasures offerings? It really does look like one person sits in this chair and communes with something that comes through or from the dome, offering up goods and treasures to whatever it is. Also, on the table here, there is some Dwemer metal, very valuable, but there is also a Dwemer knife. Okay, a table, a knife, probably for eating. Well, there is no fork, and there is no plate, just a knife. Given the underlying esoteric vibes I'm getting off this room, its layout, and the mysterious portal, doorway, gateway, dome, hatch thing, whatever you want to call it, maybe this knife was used to make blood pacts. I wouldn't go as far as sacrifices, but a simple slash of the hand to make some unbreakable bond with something worth making pacts with. One chair, one table, a stack of treasure, one knife, and the mysterious machine. And yes, oh yes, this is a machine with an unknown purpose, and it is still active. While it cannot be interacted with, it's the source of the noise in the tunnel, the rumbling that sent Hrodulf insane, the sound that spoke to him, that whispered to him. It was this device, this dome. Maybe this is merely a portal and actual entities came through, unknown entities that is, that spoke to Hrodulf, that gave him truths and foreshadowings that he could not handle. His poor meager mortal mind bent and warped until he finally went crazy. So what the hell is this thing? All we can do is listen. But before we do, I will be disabling this steam piston here because it makes a whole lot of noise that we aren't interested in. So now that it's just us and this device, let's have a listen. It sounds like a calling, a knocking. Something is awake, down there, maybe in there. It's just there on the other side of that door. Maybe it's just some machinery making some noise, and this is just a hot water system. Who really knows? But I, like Hrodulf, lie awake thinking about this dome. What could it be? And what could that noise be? The soundscape is unique to this area, I might add. Also, I believe that this dome is unique too. I don't ever recall seeing something of the sort in any other Dwemer ruin. A strange place for a strangely unique and active Dwemer device, which is creating an even stranger noise that apparently has the ability to speak and whisper to mortal men, eventually sending them insane. So is this more than a mere machine? Given its Dwemer in origin, there is no doubt in my mind it could be a strange piece of technology we have yet to learn about. As if we look on the map here, Hrodulf's house can be found here, and the nearest Dwemer ruin is Camelworks, which is all the way up here. With no Dwemer ruins remotely nearby, I have no idea what on earth has been uncovered in this room. Is there an entire city hidden down here? Or is this all of it some secret portal point, a gateway to another dimension? Or is it simply just a smelting device? Is it a Dwemer oven that tipped over? Whatever it is, it's damn weird and also sent Hrodulf completely insane. And it's also still active and making a very uniquely creepy noise. Also, in his diary entry on the last page, it states, "Fire from the deep." What fire? I don't see any fire. Deep fire? Did Hrodulf learn something we don't know? In his note to Bjornolfr, he says, "The earth will take us both." It all sounds very soothsayerish, like Hrodulf learned something about an event that is coming, a foreshadowing of the doom. While it could very well be just a whole bunch of noise sending this man insane, I feel it in my bones that there is something more to this. What that more is, well, we just can't say with any conviction. So was it the Dwemer that sent Hrodulf insane, ultimately destroying Skyrim's only gay couple? Was it something darker, locked in that dome, calling to Hrodulf that sent him insane? How did their final moments play out? Who killed who and for what reason? So many questions, so much evidence, but just too much damned mystery and weird happenings to put our finger on exactly what went down, and what was the cause of the downfall of Skyrim's only gay couple, Hrodulf and Bjornolfr. May they find peace in Sovereign God. I hope you have enjoyed the journey, unraveling, and tale weaving that is the sad unfolding of a love story in Solstheim. Be sure to let myself and others know what your theories and conclusions are as to what happened to them and what sent Hrodulf insane. Also be sure to let me know what the hell is that Dwemer dome, and why is it located in the middle of nowhere secretly underground. If you have any information, facts, evidence, speculation, theories, or anything to do with shedding some more light on Hrodulf and Bjornolfr, be sure to leave a comment. If you have any ideas for something that should be covered in an Elder Scrolls Detective series video, be sure to let me know as well. I'll look into whatever strange and wonderful topics you present. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a kindness and leave a like. It makes the video look good. Leave a comment with your Elder Scrolls Detective ideas and your theories about the strange goings-ons in this video. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos similar to this one, please subscribe. It helps me know that people enjoy these kind of videos and ultimately will result in more of them. Be sure to click on the little bell icon next to the subscribe button right here on YouTube so you are notified when a new Elder Scrolls Detective video is uploaded. The other Elder Scrolls Detective videos that I have already done, their links can be found down below in the description. Down there are also links to my social media, including Twitter and Patreon. Be sure to hit them up if you would like to support the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated and most welcomed in any and all forms. Feel free to check out the playlist on screen. Thank you for watching, thank you for supporting the channel, and I will see you very shortly in the next video. I'll see you there soon.